Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank Honourable Rondro for this question. Madam Speaker, for his information, it's not a large number of organisations, and in fact the companies he's listed, he's actually got it wrong. Fiji Hardwood Corporation is not run by an executive chair. Fiji Post is not run by an executive chair. I think Honourable Kiliraki is giving you wrong information. Honourable Madam Speaker, the majority of statutory authorities or semi-government organisations are managed by CEOs or general managers and not by executive chairs. The Ministry of Public Enterprise, Madam Speaker, monitors about 25 state-owned enterprises, of which only 3, AFL, BAF, Fiji Pine, have an executive chair. Fiji Sugar Corporation Tourism Fiji, which is not under public enterprise, but under the specific line ministries, they too have an executive chair. As I said, Post Fiji does not have an executive chair. Tikaram is not an executive chair. And nor does Fijian Holdings Limited, Fiji Hardwood Corporation Limited, sorry. Madam Speaker, the reality is that having an executive chair, and I refer you to the Fiji Times of this week, your favorite newspaper, where it actually reports, and it talks about an article about the executive chair of Bombardier, one of the largest Canadian plane makers. And if you look at various financial magazines and newspapers and various literature on running corporations, executive chairmanship is not necessarily a negative thing. Countries throughout the world, it depends on the strategy, it depends on the decision of the board as to how they want to manage companies. Sometimes when you go through a particular phase of major restructure, reform, having an executive chair is essential. Other times it is not. And in Fiji's case, of course, Madam Speaker, we know that what happened post 5 December 2006, when some of the members on the other side of the House were actively going around campaigning against the various reforms taken by the Bainimarama government then, and of course the Fiji First government, there were travel bans put. So obviously the pool of people that we had to choose from was limited. But then again also, we found strength in the very fact, because of this limitation put on us, we were able to find strength in it. And let me tell you what the strengths are, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Member, who is also a member of Public Accounts Committee, really should be concerned about the bottom line of these companies. Not about executive chairmanship, but how well are the companies doing? Are they transparent or not? Are the governance policies being put in place or not? Let me start off with Fiji Airports Fiji Limited, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you've asked the question, let me answer it. Madam Speaker, as you know, there is a major modernization program taking place at Airports Fiji Limited. There's about in excess of $100 million renovation that's taking place in Airports Fiji Limited. And Madam Speaker, this progress has not been affected by the absence of a CEO. In fact, the executive chair is not even getting paid an executive chairman's salary. He's not getting paid a CEO's salary. He's simply as a chairman of the board, but it's called executive chair. He does not receive those benefits. Madam Speaker, AFL has continued to increase its dividend payments to government in recent years from $1 million in 2010 to 2011 to $5 million in 2012 and 2013. A record dividend of $15 million was paid in August 2015. AFL forecasts a profit of $60 million in 2016 and $75 million in 2017. It is completely unprecedented, Madam Speaker, in the history of AFL. Even before the segmentation that took place in CAF and all of that, and the air traffic management was given off, now it's been brought back. Never before have they had so much profit, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the fact is also, as you know, that we are currently talking to a consortium in respect of getting some private sector participation. And obviously in this sort of stage progress, it is good to have an executive chair, because with the change in possible change in management, we will be able to then get some long-term positions in place. Let me start by Fiji Pine Limited, which is no longer called Fiji Pine Commission. It's actually called Fiji Pine Limited. Has made a remarkable turnaround, Madam Speaker, under the guardianship of the executive chair, and the company continues to thrive. FPL's profit increased significantly from a $5 million loss position in 2010 to profits of $21.27 million in 2014. In April 2008, prior to the appointment of the executive chair, Fiji Pine Limited had become insolvent. It went under mass redundancy and government ended up paying the loan from FNPF it had guaranteed. Government had to step in. The lead financier, Westpac, imposed the condition for Tropic Wood Industry, a subsidiary, to take over the management of Fiji Pine Limited. By 2010, the Pine Group was collapsing due to its bad financial status and mismanagement. The slump in the wood chip market after the global financial crisis, partially completed capital projects, etc.
Point of order.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. I think the Honourable Minister is going all around with his explanations. The simple question is, why is government taking so long in making the appointments for these organizations? That's a simple question.
Order.
It's going round and round.
Order. When you have a broad-based question, then the answer will be broad-based as well. Honourable Minister, please continue. When the question is broad-based, then the answer will also be broad-based. And I therefore give you the floor to continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll continue where I left off. Madam Speaker, the Pine Group made losses year after year prior to the appointment of an executive chairperson. Now, the latest audited financials for 2015 show a record operating profit of $24 million. Unprecedented. Unprecedented. Madam Speaker, FPL's financial performance and improved cash flow has also enabled the repayment of loans and borrowings as follows. FPL, Madam Speaker, paid $600,000 in July of last year and a further $600,000 in January of this year, a total of $1.2 million in just 7 months for the $12 million loan acquired from the government in 1990. Repayment of $10 million loan to FDB that financed FPS reform program in just 20 months, they paid off that loan. Repayment of $6.7 million loan to Fijian Holdings in just 17 months. Fijian Holdings had lent them $6.7 million, obviously with interest, but they repaid that loan in just 17 months. Repayment of a European investment loan that had been taken in 1985 in a lump sum of $2.3 million in May 2013. A debt outstanding since 1985. Madam Speaker, the Tropic Wood Industries factory at Drasa Mill in Lautoka is nearing the end of its $25 million capital upgrade program, replacing a 40-year-old dyeing machine. They now have a state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line sawmill and are presently commissioning it on time. No other country or company has such a factory set up in the entire South Pacific Island region, and probably none will have for a very long time. The once dying sawmill that is only recovering 28% of timber from logs at commissioning stage is now recovering 54%. Madam Speaker, in one of the latest meetings that the Commission had or the company had, the landowners themselves, the landowner representatives themselves, they asked the executive chairman to continue as executive chairman. And you can go to see the minutes. The minutes will show, Madam Speaker, that the executive chairmanship was asked to continue.
Madam Speaker.
Point of order.
Order.
No.
Madam Speaker, I rise on Standing Order 45 and 45-4. I think the Minister is providing a lot of factual information. He could give a ministerial statement, but I think he's taking more than his share of the cake in answering the question, which is very simple, which says, and I remember the Honourable Attorney General telling me the answer to a question that I asked earlier with respect to the Executive Chairman, and he said that he gave the reason that under the previous regime, because of the sanctions, they couldn't find people, so they had to do with the Executive Chairman. So the question is pretty simple, Madam Speaker. He should explain why these corporations still have Executive Chairman and when the government, or if the government is likely to change. But I think that's a very long explanation. You could give a ministerial statement on it.
Supplementary.
Question.
Thank you. I'll just speak on the point of order that has just been mentioned. As I had mentioned, it's a broad-based question. It's talking about proper executive management. Management covers a lot of things, and also in vital organizations. So in fact, the answer is in order. Please continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll continue, Madam Speaker, on to the next organization.
Very good. Please tell them to them.
Madam Speaker, let me now move on to Biosecurity Authority of Fiji. Biosecurity Authority of Fiji is another company that the Honourable Member has mentioned in his question. Madam Speaker, it does have an executive chair. Since the appointment of the executive chair, Madam Speaker, BEF's revenue has increased significantly from $5.1 million in 2011 to $9.5 million in 2014 and $13.9 million in 2015. During the same period, Madam Speaker, some of the charges that related to most commonly used services by farmers, in fact, did decrease also. Madam Speaker, one of the reasons why profits, of course, it does not only increase because of increase in fees, but also stringent measures and good governance practices and financial management within an organization. Anybody who runs a company knows about that. Madam Speaker, what has it also meant, and what is very critical for us, is that we need to be able to have world-class standards at our points of entry, both at the seaport and the airport. And that is significantly improved. And this is why trade now is improving. This is why Fiji can become a good transshipment hub. You would have seen, Madam Speaker, in the media a few days ago, the BAF had reported gas, giant African snail. And this has been picked up primarily because, Madam Speaker, because of the effective management of BEF. An effective debt management system and reduction of debtors from monthly $500,000 to nearly zero. Recruitment of specialized personnel, Madam Speaker, which BEF did not have. And the Honourable Minister of Agriculture will also tell you of veterinarians, veterinary biologists, and the food and microbiologists to strengthen BEF's technical capacity. Madam Speaker, BEF has also, during the executive chairmanship run, have also now put in place the introduction of the Emergency Response Fund in 2013 of $1.5 million to combat any exotic pests and diseases that may be have a devastating impact on plant and flora and fauna. Madam Speaker, what we now also have is we've ensured succession planning, facilitating training of BEF officers in India, Hawaii, mainland USA, Australia, and New Zealand. There's also been a reorganization of BEF. It has also included reporting of certain officials within BEF to FICAC because of allegations of corruption. Madam Speaker, let me go on to the last one. I'm cutting short my answer. Madam Speaker, the Fiji Sugar Corporation. So far, under the leadership of the Executive Chair, FSC has made significant improvements, which include from an operating loss of $175 million in 2010 to profits of $6.2 million and $6.9 million in 2013 and 2014, respectively. The payments to cane farmers of $88.49 in metric tons in 2014. The TCTS levels, Madam Speaker, as you all know, and Honourable Prem Singh will also tell you about this, has also significantly improved. Government provided funding of only $138.3 million over 2 years, as compared to the complete bailout of $174 million over the 4 years recommended by Deloitte's report, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, as far as Tourism Fiji is concerned, the Honourable Minister for Tourism will also tell you an advertisement has also gone out in the papers, and I understand they have a short list of people who should be, somebody will be chosen from amongst that list. Madam Speaker, the point of highlighting this is when the Honourable Members ask these questions, they need to understand it's not just simply a question of saying executive chairmanship, oh, things are bad. You need to look at the company and how it is being run. And of course, in certain instances, you do need the separation of the chair and the CEO. And to answer the question, why is it taking so long? It is not taking so long.
Thank you. Supplementary question.
Questions, Madam Speaker. I thank the Minister for his long explanation. Long and irrelevant. Madam Speaker, until and unless the government ceases to employ party sympathizers, relatives, who you know and whatnot, we will never achieve transparency and true democracy. My question is this: can the Minister explain to this Honourable House
what is his personal or professional acquaintances with these people before they are appointed to the job? Thank you.
Honourable Minister, the answer. No need to answer. Thank you. And now give the floor to the Honourable Samuel Agunivalu.
Supplementary question.
Honourable Samuel Agunivalu has the floor. Please, honourable members. Honourable Samuel Agunivalu, you have the floor.
Supplementary question, Madam Speaker. As the Fiji Pan Commission and the Airport Fiji Limited and the Biosecurity Authority of Fiji been performing under the executive chairmanship? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Speaker, the Honourable Gunivalu, I'd like to thank him for that question. And he's from the West, and he does know that most of these operations of Fiji Pine, for example, and BAF has a lot of the significant part of the operations in the Western Division. And of course, I'd like to assure him, and I'm sure that he knows a lot of it, you can see the positive impact that the executive chairmanship, in particular the running of these companies, has had in the people that live around it, that are able to source a living from these operations. We now have had a major replanting exercise, for example, under the Fiji Pine Limited, where a lot of landowners are benefiting, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, you see the problem with the opposition, they always tend to personalize matters. They always think, they're always looking for some kind of, some kind of controversy. They don't even read the reports. They don't even read the reports. They don't even understand finance. That gentleman and the three musketeers, otherwise known as the Three Stooges, in our view, Madam Speaker, do not understand what they're talking about. They need to read the statistics. They need to read the annual reports. They need to understand before they ask a question, what is the implication of the question, Madam Speaker? That is the unfortunate thing about them.
Thank you. Supplementary question. The Honourable William Ngaboka, welcome back.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I guess, Madam Speaker, the concern from the side of the House is that if they are not being paid, they cannot continue to do this. They cannot continue to carry out their roles, and human nature is such that without any reward, that performance will taper off someday. So the concern is that we need to replace these people, as we cannot expect the executive chairman to continue to do it for free and continue to perform. The question is, that's our concern. Can we quickly rectify it as opposed to relying on people who are unpaid to deliver all these great results, wonderful results? I think there's a danger there. I think any students of business management will tell you, you cannot continue to rely on someone you're not paying. So, that's where our concern is, Madam Chair. Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I said the only person who's not being paid for the executive chairmanship is the executive chair of AFL. He is not being paid the executive salary, the CEO's salary. All the other executive chairmen for their respective positions are being paid. But the fact is, Madam Speaker, this is something the opposition does not understand. There are many loyal Fijians who provided the service to us since 2007 because they believe in their country. There are many of them who have contributed, not necessarily without a reward. And Madam Speaker, I've also said in my response, Madam Speaker, that when we are getting the right people for these positions, people will be appointed. In the meantime, let's look at the performance of these companies. In the same way that Fiji Limited did have an executive chairman, but it no longer does. Your question is out of time. That's the problem. The CEO was appointed last year in December, and Madam Speaker, one thing they don't realize, we should not appoint people just for the sake of appointing people. Let's get the best people for the right job. The Honourable Prime Minister has been saying, let's appoint people based on merit. If they would have their way, they'd appoint some Mickey Mouse person as the chairman. That's what used to happen previously. You had Mickey Mouses running various boards, people running companies as CEOs just so they could fill their positions. And I can tell you, Madam Speaker, nepotism then was rife. It was rife. People weren't appointed without merit. That is the fact. If they were competent people, all these companies that I've highlighted would have been making lots of money. How come you had all these people now making money? Because they know how to run the companies, Madam Speaker, and that is unfortunately missed on them. I do not take it from him.
Sorry?
He said for me to sit down. He's not the Speaker.
Please withdraw your statement.
No.
Would you like to come? Please withdraw that statement. Please withdraw the statement. Full stop.
Withdraw. No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, point of order. In terms of fairness, there have been other comments from the other side that was quite audible the other day, like "shut up." I won't say who, but let's be fair here, Madam Speaker.
As I had made a ruling previously, if someone says a word that is disrespectful and offensive to another member, if the member raises the point of order, I will address it. If the point of order was not raised, then I did not hear, because I'm concentrating on the person